Welcome in episode 39 of Ramie and Drew. I am Ramie Mackloff. That is Drew Flaggy. And if you're watching us on YouTube or over there on Twitter or where else are we? On Facebook, you can see we have a special guest today. His first visit to the Ramie and Drew show, and Drew show, but you know him and you love him. He is Tim Allen of the Brewers postgame show over on 97.3 The Game. Hello, Tim Allen. How are you this evening, my friend?
What is going on? You two 39. I'm honored.
39. Yes, sir.
30,
yeah.
39 of these things. I think when it was the Ramie and Tim show back on 1250. I don't know if did we get 39 in? We might have.
I don't know. I think you left before we got to 39. Actually, I think I remember saying like right before, like a couple days before you broke the news to me that you were leaving. I was like, can you believe this is our 50th show? And then you were gone. And that was it.
I loved that show. I really did. And we got some we got some good response. The one crazy thing and really such a great bit was that NCAA bracket thing that we did.
What was it?
The annoying things, the things that bother you, or
it was like most annoying March or something very clever I came up with all by myself. Mildly annoying March. It was like, Drew, the premise was things that aren't like end of the world annoying. The example I gave started off, and it was one of the one seeds, was when you get your sock wet. You know what I mean? And like you just have to walk around the rest of the day with a wet. It was little shit like that. We made an entire bracket of 64 of just mildly annoying things.
That should have won. Wet socks is absolutely a day.
It should have won. It was things like the like guy, like the people that say yeah.
That's me.
You got to redo that. Your next game, Drew, we got to get this guy back on the radio. What the hell?
You could have said fuck. That's okay. I'm not.
Oh, okay.
We're not monetized right now. You can just say whatever. No, Ramie, one of our friends does that. Corey does that. Like he has a thing every year where he does like a bracket challenge of like, we need to stop doing this or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I would say
I think we had 4 regions, and it was like people, like habits. I forgot what it was. Driving, and then there was one other, region. But yeah, we really went to we put some effort and some thought into that.
It was awesome, and the other one I really liked. The bit was NFL draft phrases. So that one really, like, the vertical leap, this kid, or the kid from Louisville. I mean, that was fun too. We made some changes on that, Ramie, and it was going to be, I think I was going to have to do a double shift, or they were going to make me pick one or the other. So things are a little fuzzy, and I don't know. So, but I do miss it, and it was a really good show. And I expect that, Drew. I expect I'm going to start following you guys on this podcast here, because it seems like it would be.
Please do.
Anything Ramie's involved with, I think is pretty quality, and he's a guy that just for your viewing audience, he's a guy I've worked with and known for a long, long time. And we're getting to the point now where the character and the people, that's pretty important. It's not all about slapstick. It's not all about the best bits. It's not all about, rattling cages and having a take. That's what the new generation of broadcasters want these days, Ramie. They always think they got to have a take. No, just be you, but the character that Ramie has, I think people are missing out. And if I could advocate for a gig somewhere, I'll do it.
I appreciate that, Timmy.
I know Ramie through doing comedy, so I got the other side. I mean, I used to listen to you guys on the radio, but then it's like I met Ramie through doing open mics at Karma, and then he kind of handed over his open mic to me when he left for Minneapolis. So we've been friends because of that. So we get the other side too, the comedy side. So
This sort of brings it all together, Timmy. This sort of brings both worlds together is what we're trying to do here on the Ramie and Drew show.
Ramie's professional, and I will from time to time say bad things about Mark Ananasio because I think
and Tim, you'll appreciate Drew's total willingness to just throw out any conspiracy theory, founded or not. You know what I mean? He'll just throw it out there. He implied the aforementioned Brewers owner may or may not have been on a certain island. You know what I mean? But the
money's not going to pitching. Where's it going?
Wow. Well, yeah. Well, you're not a flat earther, though, right?
No. I don't even like Kyrie Irving's shoes, to be honest.
Okay. Okay.
I'm more of an Adidas guy.
No, but Tim, Drew has taken up the same issue with the hot takeism of sports today, especially when it comes to the NBA. I don't know how close you follow the NBA when you don't have to, Tim, so we're not going to ask you about
Bucks, and then okay. By just proximity to the Bucks, then I follow the NBA. Yeah.
But it feels like to us, at least, Tim, that NBA talk is more out of control than any other sport. Like when it just comes to the random speculation and just the stupid hot takes and everything else that comes with it. I think basketball seems to be the worst of any of the three sports.
Yeah, I've always thought that with the NBA, isn't it funny how guys with money, they're already taken care of, all guaranteed money, generational money. They like to feed the other guys, the younger guys that are on the cusp of the money. I've just noticed that over the years that, hey, my buddy's due for a decent contract here. We better pad some stats here. I don't know if that's true or not, but if you want a conspiracy, that's one of mine.
This was actually a funny take. I was at my dad's house for Easter yesterday, and we just popped on the game San Antonio against Golden State. And my dad just made a comment because he's got his hip replaced, so he's cranky. And he just goes, "Oh, imagine having to call this game and act like you give a shit." And I was like, "Yeah." Golden State, the play-in team, and he got Victor Wembanyama jacking threes, and that was pretty much it.
Sports conspiracy.
He put up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's not, and it doesn't just stop at sports. It's really it extends far beyond.
Well, do you have anything then, Drew, on Bob Uecker? I mean, he's 90 years old, and he's going to be calling a game tomorrow.
That rules.
Which it's incredible, Ramie. You know my lifestyle. I'll be way dead by the time I'm 90. Let alone talking into a microphone. It's just super, super cool. Now the Brewers did put out that release that said, after opening day, we'll take it day by day. That was a little rattling to me, only because I don't want to have regrets. I just don't. And I've been, kind of throwing this out there to Brewers fans the last couple of years. Enjoy every game that Uecker does, knowing that. And I hope he goes on for a few more years. Literally, I do. But at 90, he's only doing the home schedule. He's been backing down on his schedule. It's not going to be much longer, guys. It just isn't. And that's it's a cruel reality, but we'll take it. But at least they acknowledge that it's day by day. And I think everyone should be on notice at this point to enjoy every inning of Uecker. He's just a Wisconsin staple, and he's Brewers baseball, man.
Yeah, no one's going to replace that voice. There's no way. Not even Ramie.
No, I'm pretty good, but I don't know if I can replace Bob Uecker. But it's good. I would imagine, Tim, I haven't been in Milwaukee and listening to Brewers games my entire life the way that you two guys have. But I had a similar sort of experience with Harry Carey. And it took a while, even though while they were around, like other guys would take 3 innings here or whatever, or might take a road game. It's weird when they're gone and they're just not a part of the team and the broadcast and just the overall character of the team. Like Bob Uecker is popping bottles and pumping his fist with these guys in the clubhouse after they clinch playoff appearances and shit. You know what I mean? Like he is indelibly attached to the Brewers. I think for anybody who knows anything about the Milwaukee Brewers.
You know, most organizations, regardless of sport, they have their, you know, for lack of another term, their Mount Rushmore. So if you were to build one for the Brewers, he's one of the very few organizations that would have a broadcaster in as the top 4 iconic people of that franchise. You know, you could say Vince Scully, you can say, you know, maybe Harry Carey with a bud in his hand, right? But there aren't many that are out there that would have that. And in the Brewers situation, I think, you know, this is me. I've said this for a while. Robin Yount, of course, is up there. Bud Selig would be up there, regardless of what he did or what you think of him as the commissioner. Hank Aaron would be up there, although he only played a year and a half in a Brewers uniform. But he's Hank Aaron, for fuck's sake, right? He's got to be up there. And then Bob Uecker would be that 4th, and it's really, for the last 2 years, guys, I gotta say, man, I am just enjoying every little bit of audio I can get out of that guy, and I'll take it. If it's a half schedule, that's fine. If it's, you know, 2 of every 3 games at home, that's fine too.
Yeah, I mean, like I've been saying this a lot because the Bucks and Brewers are my 2 favorite teams. I'm not a big Packers guy living in Wisconsin, which is crazy. They're still my favorite football team, but they're the 3rd team down. But Uecker is he's irreplaceable. Like I still have issues listening to like Jim Paschke not being there for the Bucks.
Sure.
Other voice where I'm like, yeah, I mean, like
it is weird.
Marcus Johnson, but I'm like, man, when John McLaughlin used to like break a headset because we weren't rebounding going in half, that's, you don't get like, and then Paschke had to keep it together, but also like, man, he was great. They got the I Love Paschke shirts. Like the Brewers are going to be pumping those I Love Uke shirts out too, probably.
I just wonder, Drew, you mentioned replacing, or you're behind the 8 ball. You're going after Bob steps aside. I mean, that's going to be a really tough one. Bob Uecker said, you know, for years, he says, I don't want to embarrass myself. I don't want to embarrass the team. And, you know, when I go, just roll me down the backstop net and have a gurney at the bottom. Just roll me out the warning track and out the bullpen door, and I'm all good. But I was listening. Speaking of broadcasts, I was listening to Ramie, your guy Pat Hughes, who's I think Pat Hughes. When you hear the term consummate pro, I think Pat Hughes. I do.
Agreed.
Whereas Bob Uecker's more entertaining. You also you think of, you know, Wisconsin companionship and Brewers baseball, but entertaining for Bob Uecker. When you hear Pat Hughes, you just think consummate pro. He is just amazing. So, you know how I just love your Cubs there, Ramie. And I've always said they're the luckiest fucking team ever. They're just get so damn all these infield singles, and you know it goes back to Fontenot and Terrio and this Quintana had to be. We still got to face Quintana the other day. But
that's right. Yeah,
I was listening opening day, so the Brewers are rained out. I'm like, when I think of the Cubs, I also think of also a little bonus baseball. In other words, I can get sort of a half a Brewers win if the Cubs lose. That's the way I look at that. So I can enjoy the loss. I don't know what I had going that night, but I finally sat down to have a bite to eat after I went out, a few beers. Finally sit down to have a bite to eat, and I'm going to flip on the radio. I got my little kitchen, little half boom box there, and I flip on, the Cub game. As soon as I flip it on, it's the top of the 9th inning down in Texas, and there's a missed call by the umpiring crew on what should have been a foul ball. Instead, it's a wild pitch, and the Cubs lead, Here it is. I just turned it on. It was like within 90 seconds of me turning it on, and I am losing my mind. This is my first taste of Craig Counsell Cub baseball, and they get a lucky-ass call like that. And you know what I did, Rom?
What did you do, Tim?
They took the lead, and I'm like, ain't no way I'm hearing this win call for Craig Counsell's first win. I don't want to hear it. Shut it right off. And then I had to check in the morning that I went, holy shit, they lost. I should have listened. That would have been pleasure to me. But
I was working that day, and I DVR'd the game, Tim, and I came home and watched it while we were doing a podcast, and I was giving people updates of the game that happened 4 hours ago. And so you got to experience watching me or listening to me watch the Cubs lose the season opener and the Craig Counsell inaugural game.
Consummate pro, because here's the thing with Ron. Pro. He'll watch a recorded Cubs game and give updates to people like it's a goddamn YouTube breakdown of an Avengers movie.
That's a Cubs fan.
We couldn't go live during Brewers opening day because that might be too distracting for me. Like
no, that wasn't my reasoning. I was
going to comment on a game that was currently happening. Sure, it's on.
Yeah, but I said we should wait till after the game because people were watching and listening to the game. Tim knows about counter programming. I'm not going to try and compete with the Brewers on opening day.
Well, can I tell you a secret?
Sure.
Tomorrow, after the last pitch, make the switch. I'll be on.
Hey-o.
7-3 the game. Guy. However, Ramie, you'll dig this. This is the wonderful world of radio. You do what you do. I'm a good soldier. I'll salute, but I'm going to give my opinion, right?
Sure.
And it's okay. I don't like you any less because I don't agree with a decision. I'll do what I'm paid to do. You tell me what to do, I'll do it. So we got a lot of the guys out at Dugout 54 tomorrow, 9 to noon. Billy and they're broadcasting live, and then the Heller show, noon to 3, and Drew and KB, and they're all out there. And the first pitch is at 3:10. I'm filling in on the afternoon show at 3 o'clock.
No.
I've worked with Tim when he's hosting an afternoon show and a Brewers game is going on, and he's hosting the Brewers post game show afterwards, and he's the most annoyed man.
I want to know when someone serves up a fat 0-2 fastball, what are you doing? Okay, well, I might get some of those details. I am praying for a Brewer blowout tomorrow. That's what I'm praying for. Just give me a Brewers blowout. Like an 8-1 cruise control victory, and we'll see.
Who do we got?
You don't have to watch too closely.
Right.
Yeah. Who do we got pitching tomorrow? Is it Miley?
Jacob Junis.
Oh, nice. All right, another new guy. I was actually we can actually talk about the weekend series, by the way, Ramie.
Yeah, let's get into it. Yeah.
Get into that. Because now, Tim, the guy that I am constantly riding his ass is Willy Adames. I am not a Willy Adames fan.
Okay.
I hate the strikeouts. I like that they have Rhys Hoskins now that they can move him down in the order, because when he was batting cleanup and it was between him and Tellez last year, and it's like, we got guys in scoring position. We got less than 2 outs. And it's like, and he just swung at 2 really bad pitches and then watched one go down the middle.
Yeah.
That drives me insane. Like, I am the first one that people will come to and be like, yeah, Willy Adames actually made really good contact and actually had a double and an RBI. And I'm like, yeah, I'm happy he's doing it, but he pissed me off last year too many times. So I'm like, how many years in a row? It's like, it reminds me of Travis Shaw, where it's like, how many times is he going to have an injury that lingers the whole year? Now he can't make contact.
Yeah. It's funny. Maybe it's wishful thinking, but Adames is my kind of pick to surprise this year. Let's not sleep on Adames, because all off season we're talking about, the Hoskins, acquisition, and then it's Jackson Churio, and then of course you got Christian Yelich, who's starting to become a decent ball player again. That's interesting. Then you have the young crew and Sal Frelick and Garrett Mitchell, and so no one just discussed Willy Adames. He looks a little bit different, though, Drew. He does. I mean, granted, it's 3 games, and you're right. Is he trustworthy enough to jump on his back at this point? But, yeah, I think moving him down, I think moving Yelich down, it's about time that someone kind of just grabbed Yelich by the scruff of the neck and said, hey, you're not a slap hitter leadoff guy, dude. You're a gap to gap power guy. You're an on base guy. You're a fill the stat sheet guy. Again, time to do that now. Notice the offense is just a little bit different with Yelly in that 2-3 hole. Just a little bit different. They seem like they're, I don't know. You guys watched the series against the Mets. And again, granted, it's the Mets. I get it. But they seemed a little more energetic with popping the ball a little bit around the yard. Not a lot of home runs, but just seemed a little snappy with bat on ball and moving runners.
Yeah, and I think this is going to be an aggressive team on the base paths too, based on what we saw in the first series.
Yeah. I mean, the main thing that I was looking for this year is Jackson Chourio. I really would like to see a Rookie of the Year campaign out of him. That would be really nice.
5 for 12 in the series. He got a lot of firsts out of the way. The only thing missing is a triple and a homer, but he got his first extra base hit, his first walk, his first stolen base, his first RBI, his first run scored. All of those first came in. You look at the stat line, 5 for 12. I think that's a little bit better than I thought he would do. We all talk about guys like Lewis Brinson got called up. Yeah, he's the guy that got in that deal. And then all of a sudden it's like he has a squibber base hit. And then you look up, and after the first series, your career got started off at 1 for 12. And then, it's the same thing with some of these other guys over the years that have been brought up. You got high hopes. He seems like he's just involved now. He might be the real deal, gentlemen.
I think he's here to stay. Go ahead, Drew.
I realized how big he actually was. Like, I kind of figured he was like a scrawny 20-year-old, and it's like, nah, that guy looks kind of jacked already. Like, I like what I'm seeing so far out of him. A big thing was like that leadoff walk to start I was like, first of all, shocked that he was leading off on opening day.
Me too.
And then he goes up there and draws a walk. He didn't swing out of his shoes or anything. He looked for the pitches that he wanted, and he was very disciplined at the plate, which, yeah, I mean, that's credit to he's a professional regardless of how young he is. But it was still great to see him not pressing. And then his next at bat was when he got his single, right? Like,
yep.
I think.
Yep.
Yeah. So, like, right there, he waited, he picked his spot, he got on base, he stole a base the first time he was on there. It was nice to see the guy that we hold so highly had a good opening series, and 5 for 12 is really great for him.
It's just the confidence that brings. It's like anything else. Your first few days on the job, you're at a new job or whatever you might be doing. I don't know, your first few weeks in your fantasy football league, for crying out loud. You just want to get off to that good start. It means a lot. And I think this gives them the cushion. I would have left him alone. Once he did what he did, and he looked like he had the skill set mentally and physically, as you said, Drew, but the mental makeup of being that leader, I would have just left him there. Just leave him in the leadoff spot. You got your leadoff hitter at that point. And then Contreras is in the 2-hole. Yelly, you might want to move Yelly up to separate the righty thing. But I mean, and then Hoskins, and then Adames, and then here's the key, guys, offensively, for this offense to be considered a good offense, because that's what we're looking for. They're not going to be a great offense. They're just not. Okay, but can they be a good offense? They needed Sal Frelick, Garrett Mitchell, and one other guy along with, so you could throw in whoever you want, Tyler Black or Andre Monasterio or whoever it might be, Oliver Dunn. Don't be in the Dunn Club unless it's Oliver Dunn Club. But, they needed 2 of those 4 younger dudes to kind of break out a little bit. Now they took a hit with Garrett Mitchell, so now you're down to Frelick and Chourio. But they need one other guy to come through. And I don't know who that guy is quite yet. I really don't. But that one extra, just 2 young guys, Chourio and someone else, and it would make a big difference.
Well, do you think, like, if any of them struggle just a little bit, like, I'm Frelick's going to be up here. I don't think he's going back down unless something catastrophic happens. But, like, do you think that Weimer would just be back up? Because he would be the next guy, I think, right?
I think so, but they chose Oliver Dunn over him with the injury to Mitchell, so I thought that was significant. And then they moved Frelick back out, to the outfield, and so. But I really like Monasterio, guys. He's one of those little gnats that can peck away at you.
Yeah,
watch out and peck your eyes out. But I think, I mean, he got scorching hot in terms of on base and average last year for quite some time. So maybe they have something in Monasterio. And then finally with Blake Perkins, exceptional defensively. And we always talk about, Weimer's defense or Mitchell or even Sal Frelick and even Christian Yelich. His defense improved last year tremendously. Let's not forget about Blake Perkins. By certain metrics, he was one of the better, if not the best, defensive outfield in the National League, believe it or not. Now, he doesn't play a ton, but there's another guy, switch hitter, plays great defense. I think he's going to be a big part.
Yeah, and Tim, a lot of people were not thrilled with the way the offseason went, and I understand some of it to let a Craig Counsell get away, to trade a Corbin Burns. Like, that's not going to feel very good, and this kind of goes back to the Willy Adames point that Drew brought up in your answer to it. I remember many a night on the Brewers post-game show working together where you would talk about the depth of the lineup and at times what was a wasteland when you got to the 6, 7, and 8 spots, and you were just not going to score runs if you didn't do it with 1 through 5. I think that pushing Willy Adames back, and when Garrett Mitchell is healthy, this is a deeper lineup. With adding Rhys Hoskins and adding a Jackson Churio and some of the other younger players that they have on this roster, I think that while it's not, like you said, an explosive lineup and you can't count on big runs day in and day out, I do like sort of the depth and the versatility of the position player group that Murphy has to work with.
Versatile. It is. But you know what, though, guys? That kind of is a little bit of a trend in baseball. That's not exclusive to Milwaukee here. I mean, look at what, even going back to just a few years ago to your boy down there in Chicago, Madden. He would move things around a little bit. He wasn't opposed to that. I mean, he had to go out. Someone had to switch gloves or something. There's some first base rule. She had needed a first baseman's mitt, and he had guys peppered all around. I mean, that's, lineups are going to be weird, but you're right on the explosive nature of this offense. Are they going to get a few? Adames has got power. That's clear. Contreras, I'll get to him in just a second. Hoskins, obviously, with some power. Jackson Churio, I think that's going to come. He's going to have a fair amount. He's not going to be a thumper, but it's funny how Pat Murphy said during spring training, we're going to score more runs this year. We're going to score more runs. He's convinced of that. Well, one of the reporters said, well, how are you going to do that? What way are you going to do that? And he said, by touching home plate more. Now that's Murphy. I mean, that's Murphy. But I think what he means is that there's going to be more. I still am a batting average guy. I'm not saying that's the best metric out there. But I think if you have a decent batting average, all the other numbers fall into place. Your on-base percentage obviously is a little bit better, and it goes on from there. But sitting around waiting for a 3-run homer, which is what you've got now a little bit. That's a little lean toward that in Chicago with Craig Counsell, and Counts would battle with the media a little bit on, what are you going to tell me that homers are bad? You're going to tell me that home runs are bad, and he would say that to the media.
Oh, he's already told the Chicago media, Tim, home runs are his favorite play in baseball.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I mean, here's a guy you saw, and this is what I'm fascinated about. The difference in managerial styles and philosophy between Pat Murphy and Craig Counsell. It's really what I'm focused on. And I've already seen a little bit of difference. You're up 1 run opening day in the 7th inning. You get a leadoff double off the bench by Bowers. Now, what would Counsell do there? Now, I know what I'd do. I want another run. I need another run. I want a 2-run cushion because I know I don't have Devin Williams. If even I can get to the 9th, that 1-run lead, I'd be feeling a lot better with 2 runs. He bunts him over. They end up scoring the run. They get a little bit of a cushion. Okay? Ain't no way Craig Counsell's making that call. No chance he was going to make that call to bunt a runner to third for the first out to cushion a lead. He's already got the lead in Counsell's mind. Now, fast forward. He's already done that, Ramie, in extra innings at home. Think about this. You get through the top half with this new extra inning rule. You get an automatic runner at second base with nobody out. All you need is a run.
Right.
And he still doesn't bunt. You don't even need a hit to win the game, not to tie the game, not to cushion the game, but to see, now you got me all rattled up. He doesn't even do that. He didn't even do that at home. And just, it's little things like that I'm keeping an eye on. And really, it's almost like a soap opera. I get to watch the Craig Counsell thing going on, and then our Brewers this year.
Well, like you said about, the batting average, personally, I like batting average also over on base percentage. I know on base percentage is a bigger number for all the TikTok kids to look at. And look at how many numbers are up there now. But batting average, I think, is more indicative of how good a player is, because they're making contact. You have to make contact to get on base. And these on base percentages are great with guys who take walks. But if you remove that, like, I'll just beat on Willy Adames again last season. I won't do it so far this year. But he wasn't making a lot of contact, so his on-base percentage was it was whatever it was last year. If he was making contact, he was pushing it way up there. And it's like, so guys like Sal Frelick, he's a contact hitter, make contact. That's all you need. So all these younger guys that are, especially the young lefties that can bunt the ball down the third baseline and stuff, Tarang, all of them, just let those guys bunt, let them make contact, do all those things. And you're going to push more runs across, just because with their sheer speed, that ball's going to find holes. So just get base and then get over with a steal. There's nothing wrong with that.
Rom Dog still doing the stand-up stuff, I hear. Things going well.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Good. And you're going to get out to the park? I mean, this homestand is 5 games, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then over the weekend. But
I should get out to the park for one of these games. I got nothing going on. I'm not doing anything during the day.
Got the Twins tomorrow, Wednesday, and then the Mariners in town for the weekend. And it's just weird that baseball is back. It's always that strange thing. Baseball back. It's early.
Sneaks up on you.
It does. And now we're don't blink. Like I said, with Bob Uecker trying to enjoy it, just keep pinching yourself. It's the same thing with the season. Pretty soon, we'll look at. Sorry, my computer's talking here. We'll look up at the win-loss record, and it'll be holy shit! Look at this. It's already 38 games into the season, and the Brewers are 30-8. Real? No, I don't know.
Well, they're on pace for 162-0 right now, Timmy. And I do think that it's going to come down to the Cubs and the Brewers. I don't know about you, Tim. I just don't think the rest of this division is very good. I think it's going to be a race between those two teams, and I think the Brewers will be in it right to the end, if not win the whole division. The one thing that gives me pause in saying that is the starting rotation, because after like, I think you said Jake from Juneau is pitching for the Brewers tomorrow. I don't after the first 3 guys in the rotation, I really don't mind saying, Tim, I don't know who these dudes are, but the Brewers have, the pitching lab and the factory, and have been churning them out for a few years now. I wonder if they can keep doing that with some of these unknowns that they have going every 5 days.
Would have felt nice to get a Jordan Montgomery. It'll feel nice to anybody. And where'd he go? To the Giants, or the D-backs?
I thought it was the Rangers. Am I wrong? I don't know.
No, that was last year. That was last year. So I think
that's right.
But it would have been nice to get him to just solidify something with Freddie Peralta. But yeah, Ramie, how many years has it been where we're now saying that is a little bit of a weakness, the starting rotation for the Brewers? I mean, it wasn't, but just for how many years? Woody Burns, Peralta, Miley, and throw in an Adrian Hauser. Say what you want about Hauser, that kid was a bulldog. Eric Lauer had a great year. I called him the best number 4 pitcher in baseball a couple of years ago, and things really went south for him. But been a while since we've said now the offense and the bullpen. And the bullpen has always been a strength, and that still is a strength, regardless of the Williams injury. But I mean, Joe Ross is your other guy, Ramie, Drew, in that rotation. So until Miley gets back, you have the old reclamation. He's coming off a couple of big injuries. That's Joe Ross. He did have a really good trajectory going for a while, and then the injuries just bottled him up. But yeah, Jacob Junis, 4.5 sort of guy. They grabbed from the San Francisco Giants, and Miley's on the shelf now. But DL Hall, the younger guy they got in that Corbin Burns deal, he's in the rotation along with Colin Ray and Freddie Peralta. So those 5 are going to have to compete. And what's missing here, obviously, you're going to take a hit losing Woody and Burns. I mean, get out of here.
Yeah.
For me to get on here, I'd be a knucklehead to say that. They'll be fine. Things you got to watch for are the quality innings that they lost. Not just the guy, not just the total innings or the total strikeouts. It's those games that they leave the game after 5 1/3, 5 2/3, 6 1/3, where at worst, it's Brewers are down 2-1, 3-2, or up, in a lot of cases, 2-zip, 3-zip. It's the quality innings that hold you in ball games. I think we're going to see a few times this year, hopefully at a minimum, where about 5th inning or so, it's going to be, I wonder who's on MSNBC or who's, who's on my politic TV. But yeah, hopefully those will be held to a minimum. We'll watch for that. It's not just innings; it's quality innings lost.
You still watching the MSNBCs and the Fox Newses and all that?
I do.
You used to drive yourself crazy with that shit.
Oh my God, it's like such a soap opera that is continually getting better. I like all sides of it. I really do, guys. And I'm not just saying it. You can call bullshit if you want. My girlfriend can confirm it. I watch it all around. I really think we need more of that. We
don't.
No, not politics. It is so entertaining to me. It's just got, it's an attack on democracy. It's like, oh, you got receipts on that? And you just sit there yelling. I mean, who's the comedian? Who's the comedian? I was watching Gillis. Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, so I'm watching him, and actually I was watching him because my son had called me, and he goes, Dad, you got to watch this guy. You got to watch this guy. I'm like, why? Comedians, whatever. If I got time, sure. And he's like, no, there's a bit that he does. So he sent me the time of the bit that he did. And
Dad?
Gillis, yeah, he's like, he's talking about his dad, and he goes, oh, forbid the person that walks in after my dad's been watching 2 hours of Fox News. They're going to get an earful. And Ty goes, that was me, Dad. That was me. But I do watch it all. I do. I'm wildly entertained by it. And now I got this addiction I picked up over the off season. And Ramie, you and I discussed it earlier today. My addiction to the Beatles now. I don't know why. I don't know how. Why did I skip all that great music for so many years? Now, I will tell you this, Ramie Makloff. Some of their songs are awful. They're crazy.
Yeah, they're not all bangers, okay? But you used to tell me they were overrated, and you were just wrong, and you've deprived yourself of the Beatles all these years when you could have been enjoying the greatest band in the history of bands.
And now, who slotted up as the most overrated musician or band or whatever? To me, now this is me. This is all. That's what I love about music. It's all subjective.
If you say this, though, I'm going to lose.
So sliding into the top slot of my most overrated artist all time, Bruce Springsteen.
Wow. I've never really gotten into the boss. He's not my thing, but I respect his place in history and rock and roll.
But I don't have to like his music. My goodness.
Hey, Tim, if you want to get into crazy conspiracy stuff, now that we're talking about that, crazy politics, in the video game space, there's a lot of fuckery going on, and there's a woke company that's out there that's been like consulting on like story and stuff in video games. And they basically got called out for like ruining a couple pretty high profile games. And now they started saying that like fans were harassing them when like video game journalists from like Kotaku, they all started going at streamers being like, no, these guys are the problem and there are receipts. And now everyone's locking their Twitters down. It's so funny.
It's, you know,
the gamer revolution right now.
and I, you know, I don't know if it was a mistake or not. Some people, you know, I'm debating. I'm still on the fence on that. We're in such a sensitive area. You know, right now we really are, and a lot of people are sensitive. You know, look, Ramie, you've known me a long time, and it's like, you know, someone could say, let's go out partying Friday night. Timmy's driving, and I'd be like, yeah, okay, it's funny because it's fucking funny. Okay, fine. But anyway, I last year was it? Yeah, last year on the post game show. You know, the stadium funding topic came up. And of course, you know, I've made a promise to my audience to cover everything Brewers. And, you know, immediately it got political, and it just got political. So somebody, you know, broke the story that happens to be a conservative talk show host. But he broke the story about the stadium funding. Okay, that's the one. So I go to the source. And I get him on the show to say, hey, man, what's what? It wasn't a political statement. It wasn't, I wasn't posturing in any direction, right, left, or middle. All I was doing was getting down to the bottom of this story. This is freaking cool. Is this going to happen? Or are the Brewers going to move out of town? Am I going to lose my Brewers? That's where I was at with that.
Yeah.
And whoa, man, we never brought up politics. It was just about the funding, just about the story, just about, you know, this narrative that I was hearing about, you know, the Brewers may leave Milwaukee. You better be careful if they don't get the funding. So that scared me enough to go to the source, get the guy on, do a quick little, you know, what was it, 14 minutes. And boy, I got a lot of flack. See how sensitive we are? It wasn't about politics. It was simply about the Brewer Stadium funding and the potential for the Brewers to leave or stay. I don't know, man. I see.
Yeah, you were just getting the story. You weren't getting him on because of wherever his political leanings were outside of that story. You were just getting the story.
Getting the story. That's it. You know, and so my point is that I think you might be right, Ramie, that you shouldn't watch all that stuff. But my goodness, I'm still addicted to it. I'm like flipping around and, what does Maddow have on? And is Nicole going crazy? And what's Greg Gutfeld doing? And who's his guest tonight? And all these, I know them all. Believe me, I know them all. And I just love it all. But now
we got to wrap it up.
Yep. Now that we're Brewer season, yeah, I got to cut out that out of my life here.
Real quick, before we do wrap it up, just wanted to read a couple of comments. Cone Roller wants to know, what's the real story of why the Ramie and Tim show ended early on 1250? Cone Roller, we went over all of that at the beginning of the podcast, so you can go and check that out. Follow us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple is where you can go.
Is there some controversy?
Well, Tim, you know, and this goes right along with what we're talking about with all these conspiracy theories. Anytime anything happens in the public eye, even if it's something as small as you know, a short-lived sports talk radio show that comes to an end and one of the two hosts leaves, everybody has a theory on why that happened. There are people, I'm sure, out there, Drew is nodding his head right now, who are like,
money, Ramie? Where's the money?
Who are like, Tim must hate Ramie. He just had to get the fuck out of there. You know what I mean?
I love Ramie.
He's here now, isn't he? And I don't know if you remember, Tim, but along with you leaving, I went through, like, in a year and a half, I went through 4 producers. I think I ended up going through 4 producers who quit or were moved to other shows. So it really did look, I think, to people for a minute there like nobody could work with me. Like, I was just impossible to work with, and people just kept on leaving.
I'm gonna fan those flames. Ramie's tough to work with.
Heard that.
No, because you went through producers. Now you got me going. You went through producers because they were walking to the local high school and pointing at 3 kids and saying, "Hey, do you want to be on the radio? You can produce for Ramie." That was their vetting system.
So children are involved again, Ramie, just like the Marcus Tapio story. Where's the money, Ramie?
All right. And then we'll bring it back around to the Brewers' final question for Tim Allen. Catch him tomorrow on the post game at Brewers post game on 97.3 The Game. This is from Daniel. He says, question for Tim, could the Brewers legitimately win it all within the next 5 years? And I know that's where your head's always at, Tim. Like you don't want to hear bites at the apple, and division championships or playoff appearances are nice. But God damn it, Tim Allen wants to see a fucking Brewers World Series in his lifetime. And you know what? Coming from a Cubs fan, the man deserves it. Will it happen, Tim? Can it happen in the next 5 years?
It's got to. I mean, it just does. I the way I smoke and drink, and Ramie, you know my diet. It's just I'm still trying to just come on. I think they can. And I think there'll be a point with these young players. Here's why. If you want to look macro level real quick, the macro view is with these young stars, I'll call them, some of them are going to hit as superstars. They will. Their strength in numbers. They're not all going to work out. Look at Keston Hiura. Look at Corey Ray. We all thought, good things about a lot of these guys. But when you have a number of them, the Frelick and Mitchell and Churio and Gasser and Mizorowski and Ashby, and you could go on and on. Some of them are going to be stars. So watch for this. The bigger view would be at some point they will spike that payroll. And again, this might get Drew going on Atanasio. But instead of $100 million, I think you'll see it in terms of right around where St. Louis is, about 160, when the time is right. So watch for that. And the answer to that is yes, they could do this.
My main one is right now the question mark going as you get guys older. Christian Yelich, the bat speed slows. We've kind of lost a couple years with him after the knee injury, and his numbers just being down. Like, you need him to probably be your highest producing player if it's all going to come together. Like, you got to have the veteran out there, I think, that can actually carry that team a little bit with the young guys. Because he doesn't have like a Fielder, Hardy, Hart, Weeks, Braun kind of thing. Like, we got like 3 guys there. And I love that Contreras is with us for a while. He's kind of like low-key my favorite player on the team right now. It was Burns, but
But with the number of these younger guys, like I said, some of them are going to hit. And you look at the more competitive Brewer teams in the last couple of decades, when they were set and ready to go, they did bring in some of those names. Now, were they at the twilight of their careers? Maybe, but they were productive. The Marcotses and Jim Edmonds and Jerry Hairston Jr. And I'm not saying that they're bringing in Babe Ruth or anything, but they will do that. Every team does. Every team does bring in and just bolster what they've got when they want to make that push. Is it this year? Every year's got a Cinderella. Maybe it's the Brewers.
Tim, is your diet still as shitty as I remember it? Like we'd be driving into the station, we'd stop at a gas station, and Tim would be like, "M&M's for dinner tonight," like shit like that. Is it any better?
It's better
because I would look at Tim and I'd be like, I would ask him this question often. I'd be like, "How are you alive?" Not even how are you, because Tim's in pretty decent shape. He's not an overweight man by any means. I wouldn't just ask him like, "How are you even close to fit?" I'd be like, "How are you alive? How are you still living right now?" But has it gotten better, Tim?
Extra mayo, extra just go all in. It's better. I am taking a supplement regimen. Good. I think that's debatable as to whether it helps. I think it does. I do love salads, but I do love my burgers and fries. Man, grease. I had fried chicken today for lunch.
Ooh, nice. Love
and
fried
then
chicken.
You'll like this ham
Wait,
sandwich.
you had fried chicken and a ham sandwich for lunch?
No, the ham sandwich was my dinner before the show here tonight. Ham sandwich with horseradish. Ooh, gotta have that. A side of here's I'm not kidding you. Cool Ranch Doritos dipped in French onion dip.
How much ranch do you need?
Oh my God, it's so good. It is so good.
It's so
And then
unnecessary.
two pieces of strawberry swirl cheesecake for dessert.
Ooh. Easter leftovers. I got
Yes.
a lot of sweets in the fridge from
Yeah.
Easter. I got some cheesecake. I got some French silk pie. I got some carrot cake cupcakes. I'm about to go. It's Meatless Monday over here. Since we're talking about food, my girlfriend is currently downstairs cooking up, I don't know, something with sweet potatoes and black beans.
Okay.
But dessert's gonna be off the hook. I don't even know what I'm gonna do yet. I have many options.
Well, you can watch your political talk shows.
I can't wait. Yes, that's what I'm planning on doing.
Drew, keep him in line, will you?
I'm going to try to, but speaking of being in line, my girlfriend just called me twice and left a voicemail just now, so I'm in trouble. So
because we went long. Did we go long?
So we'll wrap it up. That is, we usually keep it to like 30, 40 minutes. We're coming up on an hour now, so well, that's fine. We were having a good time. That's Tim Allen. Yeah, go have a smoke. That's right along with the diet. That's Tim Allen. Catch him tomorrow on 97.3 The Game on the Brewers post-game show. And Timmy, we appreciate you, and I'm sure I'll be calling on you again, my friend.
Yes, let's do it again around the mid-season for sure, if not more.
You do All-Star break.
Let us do it again. Thanks, Tim. Appreciate you. There's Tim Allen. Drew, it sounds like you got to go. I'm hungry, so I'm going to go. Please follow, like, subscribe, rate, review, YouTube, Spotify, and Apple.
All right,
this has been episode 39 of Ramie and Drew. We'll talk to you next time.
All right.
See you, dude.